to the fiasco over the weekend where there were goons in broad daylight wielding crude weapons in the presence of the police. A security matter, the 1,000 of them that are in Al Kalau this morning. If you see people who should be doing something constructive on a day like this, for example, wielding these weapons, attacking people, and you choose, because I believe it is a choice, not to apprehend them and start to ask them questions, can you be secure? Why is it so difficult to make a decision and say, even if somebody, because that's what we do, don't we? We arrest suspects. We have not found them guilty. We arrest suspects. If somebody is suspected to be behaving in an untoward manner, we arrest them and then we have conversations with them to determine their guilt and or innocence, right? Mm-hmm. So why is it so difficult, Erick, to then stand on a decision and say, we are actually going to follow this rule of law?
Let me tell you, we still have very genuinely well-meaning public officers. Even in police, we still have good ones. They're not all bad. I am not a believer of wholesale condemnation at all. In every sector, you will have good people, well-meaning. Mm-hmm. Sometimes those who are well-meaning just take their 2 steps behind and say, what do I do? We don't even seem to remember that just 20 years ago, we nearly collapsed our country with this thing called elections. We nearly collapsed our country. States that have failed began this way. Do you know, put together, all our police officers across the country, put together, they don't exceed 250,000. Put together. Now, Kenyans are 60 million. When will you use the gun of 250,000 against 60 million? The gun will stop at some point. It will run out of ammo, or the handler will have been overpowered, or both, or either. So you don't want to play with such a situation. When the citizen gets to a point where they say, no, now it's us on our own. These goons, you know what has brought them up? Is that, you know, the original person to bear responsibility for securing us is government.
Yes.
They use our taxes. That's why they're here. So they can't keep saying, you saw CS Murkomen, after doing 47 rounds of what he called Jukwaa la Usalama, came back and on the staircase of Arambe House, all he could read out was a finding that we have 300 different groups of illegal vigilantes. And then he said, more than about 130 are in Nairobi. Then, so we have had CS. So what are you telling us? So every time you have seen criminal acts against people perceived to be anti-government, even the minister when Senator Ososi was attacked in Kisumu, he said those boys had crossed to Uganda.
Yes.
What happened to the mutual legal assistance agreement between Kenya and Uganda? If Kiza Besigye will be moved from his apartment on Riverside, and Musalia said we facilitated, what about people who have gone to an hotel to attack an elected leader? And if they went to Uganda, these ones who now were brandishing machetes and pangas, going to church. Now listen, you are not safe in church. You are not, you know, in the past, even a thief who was being chased, the one who ran into church, you would say it's okay. Wacha atubu sasa na samehewe. It means we are no longer safe. So I said, governments that breed thugs, they are no longer goons, they are thugs. They're criminals. Governments that breed those ones stare into failure. You know Haiti. You know Haiti. We went there and we did a fantastic job. Our officers did a fantastic job in Haiti. But when they come back here, they get into instructions left and right. Remember, at 5 p.m., These officers are husbands or wives or parents. They belong to a family ecosystem without the uniform. So I always say, don't set them against the citizen, because we want to coexist with them over the weekend, in weddings, in funerals, etc., etc. But when we stare into a country at a time when the Kofi Annan Foundation is saying the probability of flare, of disruption of peace is beyond 50% 1 year to election, there is every reason to be scared. You know, there's an organization called Financial Reporting Center. There's another one called Assets Recovery Authority. You and me and Chep, if we went to our banks now and attempted to deposit hard cash, 1 million, or withdraw, whichever you walk into the banking hall for, you'll be given a form to disclose.
Yes.
Many of these political leaders we see across could hardly afford to take their children to mid-level learning institutions 1 or 2 years ago. And we know them, we live with them here. They would give checks that would not be honored. 20, 50, 100,000. Today I have seen a member of parliament who runs into an empowerment session saying, I have brought, and they say, how much? 1, 2, 3, 10 million in one event. Where has that money come from? It was drawn from which bank? From which account?
With which explanation?
With which explanation?
Most importantly, where did it come from?
Yes. You have seen now they fly. I was in one event in a rural part of Nyanza 6 months ago. What I'm about to say will shock you.
Okay.
6 political leaders landed in 6 different choppers, and each comes alone. It's the pilot and him. These are the same people who could not afford mileage 6 months ago. And what we are saying is this money is being drawn from somewhere. Where?